The chat room king. What's the deal? Can't type on there, nigga. I'm trying. Let me see if I can get this true light. What's the deal? I can't even figure out quite how to whistle, man. Ice cream. But yeah, today, this is tonight. Usually we get on a little bit earlier and all of that, but this is I got like a lightweight rant. Nate Palm, J Corn. Peace. Yeah, I got like a little lightweight rant. Just pertaining to this title right here, right? Frontline 5% and sideline 5%. Because it's like a little bit of a pattern that I'm noticing. And I'm getting a little bit of frustration, right, from at the end of the day, sideline 5% not knowing how to stay in their lane. You know what I'm saying? And the difference between the front line 5% and the sideline 5% is, let's say you went poof and disappeared tomorrow. Would anything in the 5% change? I got sincere. How long would it take us to miss you? Like, would it be something that like 5, 6 years down the line? Like, yo, what happened to that brother? I mean, brother, he ain't never used to do nothing. He just used to stand in the corner. Whatever happened to that brother? You see what I'm starting to notice, right? Is that a lot of these sideline 5% want to show up, right? And just speak as if we on the same level. See, at the foundation, yeah, we deal with equality. But see, that's the foundation. Did we continue to deal with equality? Meaning, look, I came into the knowledge, you came into the knowledge, right? I studied my lessons, you studied your lessons. I taught the supreme mathematics, you taught the supreme mathematics. I added on and was counted, you know what I'm saying, when the knowledge had to be made tangible and material. You added on when the knowledge had to be made tangible and material. See, that's when it's no big I's and little U's. But see, if we both started out, right? I got the knowledge and you got the knowledge, and then that's it. Don't be talking to me as if we the same or similar. See, don't be talking to me about stuff that you hear over on the sidelines, right? And I was involved in. See, stop acting like if they put us on the scale, they put me on this scale, they put you on that scale, you're gonna fly, you're gonna fly all the way up to the moon, right? Because of how much more weight I hold than you. You know, and mine is saying, like I said, this is a rant. This is, you know, things have been prompting this. You know, you can almost say, 2025. This is not in particular, you know what I'm saying, to the people that's here in the live stream. Free sight for love. But it is, look, it's one of those things that, look, you just, you took heed to it. You heard that, right? You heard me say that, and then look, one day you'll see something and you say, oh yeah, I know what this is about. You know what I'm saying? You'll be able to say, yeah, I know what this is about. See, because this is a big part of it, right? It's a difference if you out here on the field with me talking shit, and if you on the sidelines talking shit. And see, that's all it amounts to is talking shit, right? When you talk about, oh, this ain't done, that ain't done. So here's the thing, you know what I mean? You adding on or you giving orders. Because if it's not done, right, and you the first person that see and understand that, then why you ain't the first person to do it? See, by you choosing to open your mouth and say something about it, you also chose yourself as a person who need to do something about it. So see, this is the type of thing that happens, and look, it says, see, it's the pattern that this thing always goes according to. See, if you pay attention, there's a pattern that this thing always goes according to when these people start talking. You see, they'll start talking about all the guys don't this, and the guys ain't that, and the guys don't this. And then I'll be like, well, look, we gave out, 200 and something book bags, you know, we're not saying that we saved the world with that, right? But, we put up some, we put some bread on that. How much you, what you did? Like, where you could go and show me some kids that know you. Better yet, let me see you come and attempt to build with some of the kids that know me. Let me see if you can really cut it amongst the young. See, you want to talk to me, oh, it's all about old times, and I've been doing this since then. Yeah, it ain't amount to nothing. So like I said, right? The guys like this. So yeah, guys, look, we just did that. You know, look, in the very near future, we got plans. Oh God, I couldn't be down because my foot died, and I needed to do this other thing. So wait a minute, you all about doing something. You all about what everybody did and didn't do, right? Until it's sitting on the wood right here. Let's do this thing. So tell me something. If you're depending on me to do something, I'm talking about something that's within your power. I'm not talking about we working on something. And if we working on something and you doing your part, and I'm doing my part, we depending on each other to manifest what we supposed to manifest. But we talking about something in the realm of building, right? We talking about something in the realm of, some type of national site for that we adding on to bring life to the community, right? And you depending on me to do it. And look, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna put this in terms of me. If you're depending on me to do it, then guess what? You still waiting on that mystery guy. It's not because I'm mysterious, but it's because it's outside of yourself. So you see these people, they coming out the woodwork. They on the sidelines, and look, this is what I'm saying. It would be different if you rolled up like, yo, God, I see, things is a little bit, loose or whatever. Like, yo, God, what help y'all need? You know what I'm saying? What could I do? Like, yo, God, I'm on the outside, but look, I see this right here. Like, what's the science with that? But nah, that's not how you roll. And then see, the problem always becomes is that see, you used to saying this with other sideline bullshit niggas. And so y'all sit there and mutually masturbate about how much righteous y'all is on the sidelines. See, y'all talk about how many people got a loss in they column, right? And your record is 0 and 0 and 0. It's easy. It's easy. It's easy to keep your uniform clean if you don't never get in the game. That's the world's easiest thing, right? To keep everything on the level of talking. Wise understanding. What is this? Bank Agricole de Haiti. I guess you gotta say the IT when they write it like that. You know what I'm saying? But what is that? Agricultural Bank? Farming Bank? Farm Bank of Haiti? Interesting, interesting, interesting handle there. You see, this is the various signs, right? And then here's the other thing, right? From the inside, right? So this is my point, right? From the front lines, right? We playing 5-on-11. You know, football is supposed to be 11-on-11. We playing 5-on-11. Now, when we do win, right? We win the Super Bowl. All these niggas come out to get a ring. All these niggas come out to get a bonus check. But when we lose, they don't never think that, damn, maybe if we came out there, and got in a game where they wasn't playing 5-on-11 every game, maybe things would be going a little better. So that never comes into play for these sideline niggas, right? Because they like that perfect record of 0-0 and fucking 0. You got Buffalo Coach, they be talking like, yeah, guys, me and you, we righteous, man. See all these niggas here. Hey, wait, what? See, we only two people. And it's just going on all this, just me and you was righteous. Y'all been in ciphers long enough. There's nothing wrong, right, with analyzing the problem. But I'm saying that being in ciphers all my life, right, I know what the problems is. Like, I'm out here busy on the front line, you on the sideline. That's why you got all this time to analyze what everybody else is doing. I don't give a fuck what they doing. See, I'm gonna tell you something. The used to be category is expanding. And it's especially expanding in this day and time, right? When it's like, see, your product is digital. Your product is digital. You don't have a physical product, right? That you really gotta see, like the different things, to show and prove, you know what I'm saying, the the stuff we about to do for the kids in the fall, the trips, all of those. I'm saying those are things that it's like, all right, you can't AI that. So you can't just press the button and and you can't get an app for that. So see, that's why this internet has allowed, you know what I'm saying, many more people to be sideline people. Many more people to not understand, right, that, when we saying that we got, right, you know, the same way the the same way the 85%, right? They pray to God for everything. So when you say the nation this, the nation that, see, because I'm gonna tell you something. Look, you know how I know about being on the sidelines, right? Because look, everybody got to start out on the sideline. See, when I first come, right, I'm coming to the various national events, right? And it's not even dawning on me how much this costs or who's, how this happens. I'm just coming to the rally. It's social. I'm coming to the social. Like the thought never enters my mind. Power a lot. You said I got about 100 on my page that got knowledge in the early 80s and don't. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That you got a lot of people, right? That they maintain their righteous name, but that's about it. See, a lot of people they may maintain the knowledge and wisdom, but they understanding don't continue to grow. See, I remember knew when I first realized what was going on. I ain't gonna say what was going on, but when the inkling first comes in my mind, right, is one day you know they passing the bottle around or whatever, and at some point when we realized like, yo, look, this is how much it costs for the rally. And up until that point, it had never dawned on me that there's even a bill for this. See, that's a big difference. Like I used to just come to the show and prove. But see now, there's a whole bunch of stuff that I gotta do, right, for the show and prove to come on. A whole bunch of stuff a lot of people gotta do. You know what I'm saying? When I do it, somebody else will do. I'm not saying that's a, you know, you the almighty of almighty because of that. I'm just saying that, when we got a nation of people, right, and we dealing with equality, right, other than social equality, first off the rip, it lightens the load for everybody. You see, just some things that we can come together on, whatever it is, right? See, when you hear the people saying, "Yo, the guy's this and the guy's that," yo, gee, they might as well be saying you people. They might as well be saying your kind. See, everybody got this perfect way that they want stuff to go, right? But nobody wants to make that happen. See, I gotta listen. From now on, look, If I call you Stephen A, just know that I see you as a sideline person. Because my frustration is growing to the point where it's like, all right, man, I can't have this conversation no more with you. I can't talk to you like we on the same level, with this thing. You know, I'm not condemning you for doing what you do, right? Maybe you do heart surgery. So you saving lives in another way. You know what I mean? You ain't got time to come by the school and be cutting no fucking grass. The problem arises when you start running your mouth. See, why you moving your lips and you ain't moving no mountains? Said this here. It's like most so-called Americans. Let me put it on the screen. See what it says there. Because I don't know what's going on. My what's the names ain't coming up over here like it's supposed to. You said, didn't the Father say we could always come back? Yeah. He said, like most so-called black people will say they're Christian but haven't been to church or opened the Bible in decades. Yeah, but see, and look, that's the thing, right? See, when it comes to being a 5%, right, there is there's activity that goes along with any, name like that, a title. You know what I'm saying? I mean, like, look, if you're a lawyer, then you got to practice law, right? If you're a doctor, then you got to practice medicine. And not only do you have to practice law and medicine, you have to practice them to a particular standard, especially to be considered a doctor or lawyer by other doctors and lawyers. See what I'm saying? To be a barber, you got to cut hair. And you have to cut it in a professional manner, right? Not just the styles and the precision that you do that with, but the cleanliness that you use and all of that. Now look, you might got a couple friends over there, right? You might got a couple friends over there that let you cut their hair. What's going on, Devon? See you tomorrow in a minute, right? But in order for you to be considered a professional barber, you have to cut hair and it has to be to certain standards. So see, look, for a lot of other people, I suppose they don't see it like that. For a lot of other people, once you say you God, once you start putting God, once you start saying shit like, yeah, God, I'm going to the store, God. Let me get a foundation, God. Yeah, I'm going over here, get some God juice, God. If you just put God at the end, yeah, I'm about to go to the bathroom, God. But you never practice any of the stuff that you was teaching to any standard whatsoever. So see, look, you free to do what you want to do. I'm free to do what I want to do. I don't want to fraternize, right? I don't want to fraternize with these sideline individuals. It's like a motherfucker be on the sideline and they don't even know what they looking at. Yo, brother asked me today, how come we ain't got our own lessons? We talk about a nigga who claimed he been doing this for 45 years. And he asked me why we ain't got our own lessons. I mean, look, maybe y'all can help me. How do I have a conversation with this motherfucker? How do I, see, and like I said, it's that you supposed to have the knowledge 45 fucking years. See, it'd be a difference if you got this 4 or 5 days ago. If you heard about this, hey, that's peace, black man, right there. Shout out to I guess that the Farm Bank of Haiti. You know what I mean? We definitely appreciate that. What do you call this again? The super chat. You know what I'm saying? Or if you saying that, look, you know, you got exposed to this 45 minutes ago. Like 45 minutes ago, somebody told you the black man is God, right? And then you was asking questions. But now, after 45 years, right, you said, how come we got our own lessons? How do you understand what I'm saying? I mean, like, look, y'all have seen me have patience with people who don't know. But see, I mean, that's just one of the things, man. Let me tell you something. Once somebody get to the point, right, where you trying to teach them and they talking back, they ain't no good. You didn't teach that person nothing. See, that's one of the other, you know, advantages of teaching the babies. Right? If you're teaching people whose minds is already open to information, and then on top of that, the level that they respect your knowledge. You see what I'm saying? Because you know they look up to you in a, you know, you in a you know, higher age group, a higher social group, everything, and the way you doing things. You know what I'm saying? You got the younger brothers. We trying to get up there. So see, when you got somebody that you're gonna say to me, right? This is my point where I'm making. Maybe I'm talking too long to make this point, right? When you got somebody that's gonna ask me a question like, "How come we ain't got our own lessons?" And then as I'm building with you, you arguing with me. Yes, I gotta go. I gotta go. I can't even, because there's no way for me to learn nothing from this ignorant shit you saying. So what's the? See, you told me 13 years ago a baby try to repeat what you're saying and make sure they're getting it right. Grown folks repeat you to argue. Yeah, precisely. Right. That's the 64,000 question right there. Why did Musa have a hard time? Because you trying to teach savages. You trying to teach motherfuckers. You trying to teach motherfuckers that's beyond savage. So you're specifically going after the people who don't want the 5% to teach them. They want to deal with what they're dealing with. Malik, I don't know why your comment ain't come up on the screen right there. Oh, Naru, yes, a whole bunch of people came in. I didn't even see. For some reason, all my comments ain't coming to the screen right there. But Naru, Malik. So yeah, you know what I'm saying. I feel. Listen, I think I don't know if is the word cathartic. I'm not sure, but yeah, I feel like I let everybody know. You know what I'm saying. So see that person that called me, right? They called me yesterday, and then I returned their call today, and then in the midst of the conversation, that was one of the many dumb things that they said, right? For a large part of today, I felt like calling them back and just cursing them out. But now I don't feel like doing that. Yeah. So, you know what I'm saying? I guess this was a good rant, But at the same time, let it be a message. Let it be a message that, this part is not necessarily about big eyes and little U's, but just look, the stage that I'm in, and I'm saying in life. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, with all of us. You know what I'm saying? When you in high school, you in a certain phase, you know what I'm saying? You might be starting a new job. So now you're in a certain phase where, you're in a certain stage of development where certain things you ain't gonna be doing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Right now I'm doing this, so I'm not gonna be going over that place over there where something might happen that jeopardize this. You know what I'm saying? Or I'm in a stage right now, right? My growth and development, I'm trying to accomplish something, and I don't got 100 years to do it. So right now I don't really have time to be doing a whole bunch of things because I need to lock my energy in on that right there, what I need to do. See, the stage that I'm in, I don't want to sit around and talk with motherfuckers about everybody else, right? In the end, don't be no solution. Even if it's not a solution for that, right? Okay, we came up with something that we going to do. See, it's some people that look. Tomorrow, we got a lot of kids coming to the boxing, right? Some new people y'all might not know, but yeah, we got Sunday boxing classes for kids, 8 to 17, 8 to 19, at a large school, right? So tomorrow we got a little bit of kids coming. So, the guy called me. He was like, look, we got all these kids coming. You know what I mean? We already got the bread. We about to buy the food, you know what I mean, so they can eat, because, we feed them and everything. You know what I'm saying? So he just hit me up, like, yeah, G, so look, we got this part, you know what I'm saying, but yo, you're going to jump on the grill and, you know what I'm saying, hook that up so, everything can be complete. And then after that, yeah, we talked a little about the Canelo fight and a couple other things, what happened or whatever. You know what I'm saying? That's the type of building we do. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, look, I had the knowledge 40 years. Some people I've talked to, they had the knowledge decades as well. So yeah, we got to be on point, but we're not going to sit there and have no whole bunch of conversation like that. We're not going to sit there and talk about all the people who's not going to come, right, and add on to none of the stuff we're doing. Because we both, we in the stage where it's like, I got things to do. Like, I hit you up, we check in and, put our knowledge and wisdom together, man, so we can make this go to born. But a lot of that stuff, it's like, you got to think. If you've been talking about what the guys ain't doing, right? Right. See this? I've been busy teaching children literacy. See, that's what I'm talking about. When we talk about we a nation, right? 17 million plus the 2 million Indians, right? Now we know population and all that, but I'm just saying, imagine 17 million, right? Plus the 2 million Indians who's all just doing a small thing like that. Like, he's teaching literacy with somebody else who's teaching math. You know what I'm saying? And somebody else was, found some way, take them to museums or something and introduce them to history. You see what I'm saying? Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Self I build. You said, can you break down how you explain gravity to babies, how everything is falling? What age? Because see, here's the thing, right, about explaining things, right? In order to explain something, especially to a baby, you have to understand it yourself. Like, that's one of the keys. If you can't explain something to a baby, you really don't understand it that good as you think you do. You know what I'm saying? Now, one of the reasons why I ask you that, right, is because everything about gravity is not understood, right? So, there would be some questions that they would ask, depending on what age they are, that might get a little difficult. I mean, once you get real, if you got real young, I would just say gravity is makes things fall to the ground. You know what I'm saying? Or the reason things fall to the ground is because of gravity, right? And gravity is a force that pulls things together, objects together. You know what I mean? What is a force? A force is something that moves things. So like if I push you like that and you go that way, that was force. You know what I'm saying? Gravity is a force that we can't see, right? That pulls objects together. You know, like if we talking to, like 5 year olds, 6 year olds, 7 year olds, once they start to get a little bit older, then you can start to add, other things in there about mass, et cetera, et cetera. And see, that's another reason why, like when you get to the flat earth people, right, and they say, you know, theories and everything, that's one of the reasons why something might remain with that name theory, right? Is because it's understood, right? But everything about it is not understood. You know what I'm saying? The whole theory, right, has not been shown and proven yet. Not that it's totally unproven, but there's still some things about it that's not fully understood. Yeah, 5 years old. Yeah, I would stick to that. You say gravity is the force by which a planet or other body draws object. Yeah, see, that's we talking about 5 year olds. See, this is what I'm saying. Uh, like I said, like see when you saying planets and stuff like that. That's why I said as they get older, you can introduce, you know, things like mass, right? And now you're dealing with uh, how intense the force of gravity is. See, like 5 year olds, which I mean, I haven't been five in a long time, and they do say that intelligence, like kids get smarter and smarter, but I don't know if at 5 years old, uh, you know, the concept of the planets and the rotating around the sun and all of that is if they can visualize it crystal clear. I mean, this is good. I wouldn't use hug myself. So think of gravity like an invisible hug from the earth. It's a force that pulls everything towards the center, which is why when you drop a toy, it goes down to the floor and not up into the air. Gravity is what keeps your toys, and all the buildings and trees from floating away into space. The bigger something is, the stronger the hug is. The earth is super big, so its hug is very, very strong. I mean, this is even this. I think is a little bit older kids. You see, one thing about little kids, right, is they mind is so free, right? They gonna ask you, "What about when I let go of balloons?" See, they minds They behind be thinking, and you ever ask a little kid what's 1 and 1? They tell you 11. See, I think some of that is just the educational system, right? Is that when I first went to math class, they taught me that and means plus. But yeah, outside of that, man, you know, that's about it. We don't need to beat that dead horse. You know, we don't need to beat that dead horse. You know what I'm saying? In terms of, you know, these sideline people. But look, if you know people, right? Because people do that, right? People do that. You know, they send people to New York and they tell them about me. You know what I'm saying? Meaning like, you know, if you send somebody, if somebody's coming to New York, right, and then they might not know nobody, right, and then you got, yo, when you get up there, see what the signs. Look, don't send no sideline people around. You know what I'm saying? It's bogging me down. You know what I'm saying? Well, I'm trying to go that way. You see, I'm trying to, you know, well, my goal, right, is that, see, look, you know, a lot start out just by saying, I'm gonna do what I said I'm gonna do. People are just hearing him say that. A lot of people don't think he knows what he's talking about. You see, over the course of that time between 1964 and 1969, he made all that shit materialize. He materialized all that shit. You see what I'm saying? All them ideas what he had, he made them into physical things. You know what I'm saying? Where the kids is going to Bear Mountain, or you know, a couple years ago, remember they posted, you know, uh, that he had took the kids in the airplane. You know what I'm saying, with May and Lindsay, and you know, these days you got the internet and a lot of other things. People move around, but you know, back in that time, you know, even up to my time, you really didn't leave the neighborhood like that. And so, you know, people taking you various places and showing you different things and ways of life and all of that, you know what I'm saying? That, you know, you wasn't necessarily trapped in this you know what I'm saying, this environment that you in. You know what I'm saying? You know, getting brothers back into school, you know what I'm saying? Eileen had dropped out, you know what I'm saying, of school before. You know what I'm saying? But through a law, he got him back in Harlem Prep, and then from Harlem Prep, he went to UMass. Colleen came out of jail and ended up in Harlem Prep. You see what I'm saying? Where, you know, he want to do these things and deal with education for the babies. At first, he's just saying it, but this stuff begins to materialize, right? And now we don't gotta do so much talking. See, you don't gotta tell people that it's your plan to teach the babies and the block is full of babies. So that's why I don't really need them people around me, because they just bogging me down. You know what I'm saying? Like, because look, in between the time where I got other things to do. So I don't got no idea to sit around and talk with them about that. So don't send no more sideline people around me. You know what I'm saying? If you send some sideline people around me, they better be young. They better be people that they just waiting for their chance to get in the game. If somebody just want to take up my time, you know what I'm saying? When it's like, look, I already got solutions, but I gotta grow them molehills into mountains, right? I got solutions right now can affect a few people, right? So that's what I gotta prepare myself to do. You see what I mean? And you preparing yourself to run your fucking mouth. You know, power to you. But I don't got the time because I got stuff I'm preparing myself for. So let the sideline cats stay on the sideline. You know what I'm saying? In the meantime, between time, I'm gonna sign off and say peace.